Okay, it's my honor to address everybody here today and introduce the program. I asked Abby Wolfrum, there we go, Abby, to come and present about the United Way. Our club has been doing the backpack program, helping, and she'll probably talk a little bit about that, and then she's going to talk about some other stuff too. So anyway, she has 5 kids. Kids go to Ayersville, 4 boys, 1 girl. She's originally from Swanton, and this is what I find out sitting at this table over here. So anyway, Abby, I'll let you present.
Thank you. Now, if Larry introduced me just a couple years ago, he might have called me Amy and I wouldn't have said anything, but now I can give him a hard time as we've got to enjoy each other's company during Backpack Buddies. Yeah. Did you almost call me Amy just for fun?
Amy and Abby do sound an awful lot alike.
They do. They do. I've been called worse, I think. So, actually, my maiden name is Polish and 13 letters long. So if they got Amy, I was happy because I knew they weren't going to get Kolajasic. Yeah, 13 letters hardly even well. But happy to be here today. It's been a privilege getting to know some of your club members over the last few years. I gotta give a shout out to my friend Susan here that we had a discussion probably my first month on the job when I took over as executive director at the United Way early 2021. So I'm just starting my 5th year in this role. But we had the idea to connect, United Way with Hicksville. I'm told in the past there was some great relationships and support, and maybe kind of fizzled out over the years. And one way to do that is getting folks involved and in action with some of the things that we're doing. And so Backpack Buddies is an easy one to connect folks to, for folks to feel like they're making a difference. It's an easy ask for this job to have people help support this program, because who doesn't want to feed kids? Nobody wants to see them go hungry, right? So thank you for those that have joined in to stuff the bags. We do this each and every week during the school year. Right now we have 460 kids throughout the county that are receiving the Backpack Buddy bags of food. The program has been around for 15 school years now. We are the talk, I'm telling you, here in Defiance County. There are some neighboring counties that maybe within a school district do a smaller scale program and take care of the kids at specifically one school. But for us to serve the whole county, we're in every elementary school, including Good Sam, Holy Cross, and St. John Lutheran too. So not just the public schools. So it's one we're very proud of, and again, we couldn't do it without the support of our volunteers each and every week, and donors to that. Because I'm sure you all have been to the grocery store and have seen the costs just keep going up and up. So it's one I don't worry about us running out of funding, because I think we've got the backing and support thanks to our generous community. I've been here before talking. I think I made Kenna, who's my marketing director, come and give her first presentation here too, and I know she was super nervous. So I know a lot of you know about the basics of United Way, so I wanted to kind of touch upon some other things here today. But I did leave you with our most recent annual report, which will be compiling one here in the next few months for our annual meeting coming up in April. But just some basic stats for you guys to see, and that we're still relevant in the community. I'm hoping that the past couple years that I've been in this position, you've seen some more connection between the United Way and the Hicksville area. Yes, my office is in Defiance City, right, but we are trying to serve throughout the whole county. So I'm always open to hearing what your needs are here in Hicksville specifically, and if there's a way for us to partner together. Again, back to Susan, we were able to help for the summer food program. I know once the hospital was going through some stuff and didn't have that support financially, I encouraged her to apply for some funding through United Way. So a lot of the money that we do raise during our annual campaign is going back out into the community. So not necessarily a United Way funded program, but those of our partner agencies and organizations that are also providing some good work and serving those most in need. So again, happy to be able to have those conversations with you. If you think there's a specific need here in the area, don't hesitate to reach out. I'm going to pull up a few notes here that I did make this morning. I have a problem when I know I'm going to give a presentation. I feel like I know all the nuances, ins and outs, but I want to make it relevant. So of course last night I couldn't sleep. I was tossing and turning on what is going to be meaningful here today for you folks to hear from me. One thing I just wanted to share was in terms of national giving, it's been on a decrease. Discretionary funding, probably for all of us, we've seen that kind of slowly whittle down a little bit, and that's, you know, same kind of thing that's happening across the country and with United Way worldwide. Reports are showing that there's been a steady decline over the last 20 years in United Way funds that are being raised. And specifically at the local level, our workplace campaign, and that's kind of what the United Way was founded on, was local businesses coming together, encouraging their employees to support the local needs, the ease of giving through your United Way payroll deduction through your job. All of that has taken a hit, to be honest, and it's scary for me in this role to see those numbers go down each year. And try to think of, okay, we got to be creative and come up with new ideas, and that's what we've had to do, especially the past couple years. So we're working really hard to change the landscape of our funding and generate new income through various ways. So perhaps you've seen, if you're on our social media or get on our newsletter through our email, we have partnered with local restaurants over the last couple years doing Pizza with a Purpose, or we actually have one with Buffalo Wild Wings tomorrow night, 5 to 9. I'm going to leave these flyers here for you. But restaurants have been great. Everybody's got to eat, right? So it's an easy sell. You're giving, you're feeding yourself and your family, right? But then that restaurant in turn is providing a kickback to us. So we're help promoting their business, they're helping us in a way. But again, I'll leave these flyers here. Jersey Mike's is new in Defiance, and they had a big opening week where they partnered with us and Holy Cross Catholic School a few weeks back. We still haven't got the final number for that, but I don't know if you stopped there personally or tried to, but they were busy throughout the whole weekend. They were giving out $3 sub cards. So if you look at their menu, their subs are anywhere between like $7 and $10. So you can get a sub for $3, and that would in turn come back to the United Way. They had buckets out to collect change. So we're really excited to hear how we did there. Again, small examples of little things that we can do throughout the year besides our annual campaign to try to help us make up the difference of where we have that shortfall in the funds that we're raising. We implemented our chicken dinner last year. That was on a hiatus since before COVID, and that is something I wanted to bring to the Hicksville area. Do you guys do chicken dinners over here? Is that something that, one, is oversaturated, because I feel like there's tons of chicken dinners throughout the year over in the Defiance area, but if we came over here, we typically partnered with Premier Bank, so I know there's a Premier Bank here. Would that branch be open to us doing a chicken dinner? And the way we've done that over in the Defiance area is that it's a lunchtime meal. We did offer an evening pickup, but we were able to hit up businesses then and be like, hey, do you want us to come serve your employees? Kind of an easy sell to build team morale. Maybe the business will sponsor, or maybe collectively the few employees at your business would want lunch that day. So again, some ideas that I'd love to see us collaborate on in the future, so I wanted to mention that. Last year we also did our UTV raffle, so some of you in here bought a ticket. I think Bryce bought a few, thank you, sir. Maybe doesn't even remember, but he gave us some money one day when we were here.
Yeah, I just sit here.
But we look to do that again. We partnered with McCarthy's Kawasaki over in Defiance, and if you don't need a UTV to run around here in Hicksville or your property at home, it was a $7,500 cash prize option as well if you didn't need the vehicle. But we kind of stole that from the Defiance Rotary Club that does their Corvette raffle for their large fundraiser during the year. So we decided to do the UTV raffle again, and then the drawing will be around into September, beginning of October. I'm sure we'll be back and have tickets to sell to all of you, but perhaps you can help us spread the word. And I think that's a big thing I want you guys to take away here. It's been great getting to know you, but if you can help us continue to spread the message with your friends and family and coworkers here in Hicksville, that would be appreciated. With that, my big goal is to have a board member representing the Hicksville area. I know some of you in this room have done your time on the United Way board maybe many years ago. Maybe you want to do it again, or maybe you know somebody that would have an interest in this. I think we're an easy organization. I know some boards can really pull you in and you need to have the time, but if anybody has questions about that or has an interest and would like to talk, please. I'd love to have those conversations. I think it's important for us to have that representation from your village here of Hicksville, and again, we can talk about that, but I did want to mention that. Coming up though, wanted to share some of the fun activities that we do have going on. Trivia night, I think Bruce signed up a team, so I don't know if that's open to the club here, or if that's Bruce's personal team, but one of our small fundraisers that we do, Larry, you want that?
They wouldn't let me in.
Oh, you'll have to bring your own team. But that's coming up at the end of February at the Defiance Eagles, February 28th. It's a fun night. You can gather your smartest friends if you don't feel confident yourself, but we probably net about 7,000 or 8,000 on the night. So, for us, that's a successful one-night fundraiser for us to do. There isn't much work involved besides soliciting people to come get a table. We'll serve pizza and snacks, and there will be open bar at the Eagles. So that's coming up. And then one fun thing we like doing is getting into the schools, and we have our annual Dr. Seuss Day. That's the week after that first week in March. So we do have signups online, but I did bring some sheets if anybody's got an interest. We need 10 more readers at Hicksville Elementary on March 5th. That's a Wednesday morning at 8:30. And then if you're close to the Fairview area or know little kids over there that you want to get into classroom again, Tuesday, March 4th at 8:30 as well. So Brian, you want to pass these around for me? One of our pillars for United Way is to help support education and early literacy. So again, that's one way for us to get into the schools and stay connected and promote reading. We do that through our Dolly Parton program as well. So hopefully you've seen a flyer on there and heard about that program. The Dolly Foundation is great in helping us get that up and running, but locally somebody's got to fund the cost of books and postage to mail those free books to the kids in the community each and every month. So we've got 1,300 kids throughout Defiance County that are receiving these books. I think that's close to about 65% of the total population of age 4 to 5. When I first started, we were between 800 and 900. So it's cool to have seen that program grow over the last few years. But it's one that I know we're gonna have to have some support behind us to keep that going. There have been some smaller counties in Ohio that are struggling to keep that program up and running for those kids just because the cost is kind of significant if you're a smaller United Way. With 1,300 kids at about $30 a pop for the year, $39,000 I think. We thankfully have the support from the DeWines here in the state of Ohio. They have a matching grant for us, so we cover about half that cost then each and every year, but we're happy to do that. Other counties throughout Ohio, I should say, usually maybe it's a Friends of the Library or a hospital or an area foundation that covers that cost. But we've got supporters through our Defiance Area Foundation, Defiance Rotary as well. So If the Hicksville Rotary Club would like to get involved in that initiative, that would be one I know we would truly appreciate the support for as well. And then I found this very interesting. On my desk this morning, I get to work and a copy of the Rotary magazine was sitting there. I know we were already quizzed on these questions, I think, at the beginning of the month, but I was like, oh, should I study up today for Rotary? But on just the second or third page here, I opened it up. There's a picture of balloons. And I felt this is my sign to remind folks here of our largest fundraiser for the United Way of Defiance County is the Hot Air Balloon Festival. We just put on last fall, or end of summer, the 10th annual. So it's been around for a while. Balloons in Defiance have been around even well before then. We're very lucky to have some resident pilots here in the Defiance County area. But it's been a fundraiser for the United Way for the 10 years. And in your magazine, if you didn't read the little blurb, there's a Rotary Club out in Lincoln, California that puts on Wings and Wheels, and there's air shows, car shows, besides just the balloons, which I've come to learn the balloons, really their two prime times of flying is like first light and the sunset. Those are the best times for like the wind and like all the variables that they need. So filling that gap in between with other events and fun activities to bring in the community to enjoy, we're looking to add to that. I know we were talking about the Farm Day coming up soon. I think Bryce, you were out there at the Balloon Fest last year. We've partnered with the Farm Bureau and a bunch of folks over at that office out on Evansport Road to bring in and educate the community in the world of farming and, you know, make some connections to real life stuff with what the groups of farmers are doing. So that's been an addition just in the last few years. I think that was the third time the folks were out there. Yeah. So I'm looking at the club now because I thought it was cool that their Rotary Club was involved in this festival, and I'm trying to think, is there something that the Hicksville Rotary Club would want to do or get behind? I don't know if you guys have a group here that does car shows or things like that, but is there some sort of element that the club could bring to the Balloon Festival this year? The festival is always the first Saturday in August. And another reason why I mention this is I started out my campaign talks at Hicksville schools the end of August. You know, we were just coming off Balloon Fest, and I'm like, show of hands, who all was there? And I look in the crowd, I see one hand, and it's my mother. And I'm like, well, she was there volunteering because I'm sure I need some help somewhere. But I'm like, nobody, like in a room full of all the teachers and staff out of the schools, nobody came to the Balloon Fest? I'm like, it's just down the road, it's exciting. Like, so I know we need to do a better job at including your community with that festival. We estimate attendance close to 4,000 or 5,000 people that come in throughout the day. Weather pending, I know it gets a little tricky. It's either really hot or we've had a little bit of rain and some misting happening, but the show goes on. Perhaps the balloons can't actually do what we want them to do based on the weather, but we have got tons of other stuff happening to keep the community engaged and have a good time. So I just thought I'd take that opportunity, present that to see if maybe there's something that the club would want to do and be involved in, or at least, the very least, help us spread the message. We'd love to have Hicksville folks come in and enjoy the festival. Like you said, it's our biggest fundraiser, bringing in close to 30,000. So we have sponsorships available for us to help keep the event costs low for us and basically make our funds through parking admission. We've got kids activities that we try to keep at a low cost so all families can afford to enjoy the day. But again, we just wanted to share that, felt compelled. But what questions might you guys have for me at this time, or what would you like to see us do better or different, and are there ways for us to partner together? I don't know if anybody, yeah.
If you did a car show and you did it in the afternoon, because most people show up in the evening for,
Yep.
for the balloon
Yes.
light
The
thing.
balloon glow, yes.
Yeah. did a car show in the afternoon, that would bring people in earlier.
Yes.
My car's always there because it runs on ethanol.
Sure. Yeah, you have that
So
part of it.
sitting there with the, because it's made by corn.
Mhm.
And we run that as fuel, but, if you did that, that would bring people in sooner.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Defiance, the car shows that Defiance does put on, they're big.
Yeah. So that is one thing that I was like, okay, would this bring in, you know, different group of folks that wouldn't normally come out to the
Yeah,
festival?
so whoever coordinates those,
Mhm.
that car show that they have downtown Defiance, because they
Yeah.
fill it up, whoever does that is who you should talk to and
Okay.
see if they can do one out there.
And if my memory serves me, I feel like there's one that happens that Friday night before the Balloon
okay.
Fest. So I don't know
Maybe
if
it's
that
one.
would.
Maybe it's that one, I don't know.
Yeah, and I don't know if you get 2 for 1 if they're already in the area and they want to stay for the next day, or if that would have already served its purpose there. I don't know, but yeah, I definitely think that's something to explore. So I will look. Yeah, for sure.
How long's the reading?
The reading depends on what Dr. Seuss book you grab. So you
Read one
could
book?
1 or 2.
Okay.
Usually
No more than a half hour.
no more than half hour, but I would say 10 to 15 minutes is typical. Yeah, some of those books you fly through, but there's some ones that are really long if you haven't picked up a Dr. Seuss book in a while, and tongue twisters, so make sure you practice too. Larry?
Do you do any food kitchen stuff type thing, food pantry?
So we, our program through United Way is called the Feeding Success Food Pantry, and that is one that we fund that is in each of the schools throughout the county, including Fort County Career Center, so food and hygiene items. But we partner, Defiance is kind of interesting in terms of like food pantries available. It's like every church has one. There's some other groups that do too. So we help compile a list countywide of food pantries that we can share as a resource. And our big connection with them is through the annual Stamp Out Hunger Food Drive, and we collaborate with the local postal offices. The letter carriers collect thousands of pounds of food on the one-day event, that second Saturday in May. So that's kind of how we work with the food pantries. But if you're talking about our Feeding Success pantry,
Well, I
no.
didn't know about, because you buy all that stuff for the kids,
Yes.
so I didn't know that somehow you could correlate that with a food pantry to help out on that or not. But
If a food pantry has an additional need, I mean, they obviously rely on donations as well. We'll help do collection drives for them if they have a need. They could apply for United Way funding. We've had some do that in the past. Like I said, I help collectively get the
I don't
food
know,
drive.
food pantries, do they get discounts on some of that stuff too, or is that all donation? Because you said you weren't getting discounts anymore on the-
Yeah, our current supply of food for Backpack Betty is coming from Meijer, and they're not cutting us any sort of deal, so I'll be shopping around here. We were getting good support from Aldi, but since the pandemic, they just haven't been able to promise us all the food that we need each and every week and take that off the shelves from their other loyal customers. So I'm like, money, but okay. We're still buying it, you know. But yes, we're not getting any discount, but food pantries should be if they're collaborating. I think it's, I don't know if it's the Toledo Food Bank anymore or Seagate out there. Any other questions? Again, it's been so great developing relationships with you all, and I just hope that continues. So, you know, to find me, or I'm usually here the first Tuesday of the month restocking for Backpack Buddies. So, thank you.
Good, thank you.